Hello and welcome to Hudson, Wisconsin, where I am going to be trying to get my shot of the week, number 51 for 2014. This is a kind of a trial run of doing a video as part of my shot of the week. I drove the 2 hours to get here to Hudson, hoping that I'd be able to get my shot of the week. As you probably can see, or will see in a moment, it's not the best of lighting conditions out here. It's very cloudy, but it's been cloudy for the last couple of weeks for the most part. The one day that we did get sunshine was a day that I had a lot of other things going on and wasn't able to get out and do any shooting. So, and from the looks of it, this is the best I'm going to get for the bulk of this week. So I thought I'd drive up here and see what was available for shooting for swans. And like I said, I'm going to try this try this video as part of it to kind of talk about how I'm setting up the shot and the location and those type of things, just to give you a little bit of the story behind the photo. So anyway, here I am at Hudson, and there are some swans here. Nothing flying at the moment, but hopefully that will change and I can maybe work on some flying shots. Unfortunately, with the clouds, it does kind of impact things a little bit. I'm having to shoot relatively high ISO in order to get my shutter speeds up high enough, because even though I'm using vibration reduction lens, or image stabilization as it's often known, that helps to stabilize the camera and the photo itself, but it does nothing for about slowing down the birds, of course. So I still need as high a shutter speed as I can get in order to get stop action on the birds. Now, when I'm shooting in situations like this, I go for aperture priority. I try to shoot close to f8 so I get some decent depth of field without getting too wild on it. And then I select the ISO so that I can get decent shutter speeds. The problem is, the higher the ISO, the more noise or grain, if you will, that you get in the picture, which will make it look less sharp. So there's always those trade-offs. With the D300S, I prefer not to go any higher than ISO 800 if I can help it. I can go to 1600 in a pinch, but after that I really start noticing the grain, especially if I try to blow things up at all, or crop, which I often have to do with wildlife. So anyway, I'm going to be looking around for some photos that I can hopefully make into a shot of the week. Not only do we have trumpeter swans out here, but we also have Canada geese and a bunch of mallards. I'm not sure, I'm not seeing any other ducks at the moment, but sometimes we get an occasional other duck besides mallards thrown into the mix. As you can hear, hopefully, trumpeter swans are well named, because they do sound like somebody blowing on a trumpet. We have a fair number of birds out here today. I have seen more. I'm kind of surprised that the ice is in as far as it is. I wasn't expecting this much ice, so of course that helps us, because it means that the birds are being pushed closer to shore here. And if you come to Hudson to watch the swans, It always helps to have a chair to sit on, and you can just kind of sit and relax while you watch the swans and look for their behaviors and look for something to photograph. Of course, warm clothes are a must, even though today it's in the 20s, which is relatively warm. Still, when you're sitting outside for a long time like this, doing nothing, it can get awfully cold in a hurry. So make sure you dress warm, in the best of, even when it's relatively warm out. Then you can sit here in comfort and watch the behaviors and look for your photos. Swans have been coming here for a number of years. The trumpeter swans used to be, were getting pretty scarce, but there have been some conservation efforts recently that have brought them back from the brink, and so there's quite a few around now. Here at Hudson, for a number of years, they were being fed during the winter by a local resident. The DNR determined a couple of years ago that the swans were now plentiful enough that they didn't need to be fed anymore. They still congregate here during the winter because this little channel of here just off the St. Croix River stays open year-round because of current, so it makes a good place for the swans to hang out when they're or during the winter, so they don't have to fly as far south, and so that's what they do. Now you might notice that a lot of the adults, which are the white ones, the gray ones here, like those ones towards the center of the frame, are young cygnets, but the adult swans often stay in the pairs, in the mating pairs, even though this is not mating season. So you'll often see two together. If you're lucky, you can get the nice heart shape. One of the toughest shots to get is when they're flapping, which is a very interesting shot to get. One thing, unless you're actually focused on a bird when it begins to flap, by the time you see the flapping activity going on and react to it, the flapping is pretty much over. So you have to get kind of lucky and be focused on the bird when it starts flapping. Now you can increase your odds a little bit by finding birds that are preening, because usually once they're done preening, that's when they start doing their flapping. The other problem that you have getting a flapping shot is that they become so much bigger. So if you're zoomed tight on the swans and they start flapping, then you're going to only get a part of the bird. You have to kind of zoom out, be not so quite tight on the bird if you're going to be trying to get a flapping shot. One of the problems here at Hudson is trying to isolate a given individual. Seems like if you're following a given individual, waiting for them to do something special, like bringing their heads up with water dripping off their beak, or doing a wing flap, or whatever, about the time they start doing something like that, all of a sudden either another duck or a goose or even another swan will suddenly swim in to the frame, basically photobomb your shot, and then you either have to eliminate that object in post or try to work around it somehow or another. But that invariably happens out here, is that like I said, you get photobombed. As far as flying shots go, like this. The swans usually give you notice that they're going to take off. They'll start talking quite a bit, bugling, trumpeting, whatever you want to call it, before they actually take off. That flock was a little bit different in that regards, in that they didn't give a lot of warning that they were going to take off. But anyway, usually they let you know well in advance that they're going to do that, and then you can set up the shot and get some nice low flight shots as they take off in the water. Today we've been having a lot of takeoffs, both swans, duck, well, all three, swans, geese, and the swans have all been taken off. There's been very few landings, and most of the landings have been either geese or ducks. In fact, actually, I haven't seen any swans come in yet, so obviously we're kind of losing the number of swans here. But there's still a fair number around, as you can see. And we got a nice wing flap just then. So you can see what we're dealing with here. He just happened to be looking at that particular bird when it did that flap, so we got lucky there. On my camera, I'm using my 80 to 400 millimeter zoom, which of course, since I'm using a 1.5 crop factor camera, is the equivalent to a 120 to 600 millimeter lens in the 35 millimeter terms. Although I am using the 400 end of the zoom quite frequently, I am backing off even all the way to about 150 millimeters for some shots, just because of the swans are such big birds in the first place, and in the second place they're so close that shooting at 400 you only get part of the swan in a lot of the time. So, and especially again for the wing flaps, it's important to actually get off, reduce the focal length. If you came with a fixed 400 millimeter lens, you'd be having a lot of trouble out here. You'd probably be better off with a fixed 300 than a fixed 400, unless you really want to get those partial body shots. But having that zoom capability is really nice in this situation, because again, the birds are in so close, and they're fairly large birds too. Kind of fun watching the interaction between between individual swans. Not to mention the swans and the geese, as they sometimes attack themselves. Later on, February-March time frame, you'll actually see the swans doing a lot of dancing and stuff. I'll have to try to get back out here in that time frame and get some video, because that's very interesting to watch them. There'll be 6 or 7 swans at once will face off against each other and get up and do dances. And while I've captured that on still camera quite a bit, it would be a lot of fun to get them on the video camera. I'm doing that. Well, that's it for my trip to Hudson today. I think I'm going to find something in there that I can use for my shot of the week. I'm hoping one of the flapping shots that I got today is going to work for that. Anyway, I'll close out this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. If you could let me know, give me some feedback to let me know whether this is worthwhile for me to do in the future, or whether I should just concentrate on the photography and not try to do the video as well. I'd like some feedback on that. So let me know what you think of this, and well, maybe we'll see you again.